Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw for Insider Travel Report, and I'm here today with the Deputy Prime Minister for the Bahamas. It's Chester Cooper, who's also the Minister of Tourism, Investments, and Aviation for the Bahamas. And we're here actually today because in the last week or so, the U.S. State Department put out a travel advisory actually warning visitors from the U.S. and elsewhere that there could be some crime in the Bahamas that they need to try to avoid. And we wanted to talk to the minister about what the situation really is, because we do know, and it's been my experience, that not all State Department advisories are either accurate or really tells the real story. So what we're going to do here on Insider Travel Report is talk to the minister about the situation as it stands today, and you're going to hear about it right now on Insider Travel Report. Now, Mr. Cooper, first of all, thank you for taking the time to speak with us about this situation. I know you're concerned about it because it's making some news over here. I tend to believe some of these things die down pretty quickly. But when did you first hear about this U.S. State Department advisory, and what was your reaction? And I understand there might be more than one advisory that came out.
Firstly, thanks for setting up this interview. We're always happy to talk about the Bahamas, and especially happy to talk with someone who's frequently visited our country. So let me say that the advisory isn't new, first of all. The Bahamas had been at level 2 on the advisory level for quite some time, a considerable period of time.
Right.
As you would know, the U.S. Embassy and the U.S. government tend to put out these advisories from time to time. So they, in effect, renewed the level 2 advisory for the Bahamas on January 26th. So this certainly was a normal thing, advising the traveling public to exercise precautions,
Right.
as opposed to usual routine precautions. Somehow this time the advisory was picked up by the network TV stations, mainly in the USA.
Yeah, no, it's the media. We're bad out here at the media. I got to tell you, we pick up all this stuff, and all of a sudden it was all over the place.
Well, you have a responsibility to report the news, and I suppose that was considered news. For us, though, we thought it was consistently a level 2, and it got a little bit more attention than we thought it deserved. Naturally, there has been some crime incidences, crime wave, if you will, that impacted mainly residents. It's fairly a domestic, localized issue where there's a comprehensive plan to address it. But it has impacted no tourists. It's isolated in areas outside of the tourist zones, really in the inner city. And therefore, the precautionary advisory really was to be careful where you go, really. I think that's advice that you or I would give our children, our travelers, no matter where they travel to.
Absolutely. In New York, I give that all the time. And I think the problem is they blew it up a little bit, and they kind of talked about there have been some murders. And from my impression, though, it was, as you say, unfortunately, dealing with Bahamian citizens, not tourists.
Now,
And
the murders were residents of the Bahamas, mainly in the inner city areas. And it impacted no visitors, no tourists were injured or hurt. And therefore, it was something that we take seriously. And the Commissioner of Police and the Prime Minister and the Minister of National Security, a five-prong approach in terms of how we do this, everywhere from prevention to punishment to rehabilitation. So we think that the matter is in fact under control, and we'll be continuing to monitor that for the public safety of our residents. But I emphasize that no tourist was hurt or injured as it relates to these advisories.
so these were not in the resorts. It really was in the inner city in Nassau, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
That's correct, in Nassau. I should also point out for people who may not be familiar with the geography of the Bahamas that we are an archipelago of 700 islands, and we promote 16 island destinations.
Right.
So Nassau is only one of these destinations, and the crime is isolated in the inner city of this one destination. So in some of the islands of the Bahamas, you can go to a beach and not see anyone for a week. So Bahamas is quite a diverse geography, and we like to rave about the diversity of this archipelago. From Grand Bahama, where we promote adventure tourism, to Nassau, that has nightlife and cosmopolitan living, restaurants and shopping, etc. To Eleuthera, 365 magnificent island chains, 365 islands in this chain,
Hmm.
magnificent for boating and diving and fishing or yachting. Or you can go all the way south towards Crooked Island,
Hmm.
where I like to say that the fish die of old age. So we have a great diverse product from city to true, authentic island environment. And we want the world to know that the Bahamas is more than just Nassau Paradise Island, but at the same time, we celebrate the beauty and magnificence of Nassau Paradise Island. Most people know the Atlantis Resort. They know Bahama, which is brand new with the magnificent big brands like Rosewood and SLS,
Sure.
etc. There are many boutique resorts in boutique islands, I would say.
Well, I was there last year. I felt no, I was never felt in danger of any crime or anything else. And as I told you before we started, I will be down your way on the beginning of March and staying in Nassau at the recently renovated British Colonial, and then getting on a cruise ship.
Maybe I should
Yeah, and then I'll be getting on it.
maybe I should be interviewing.
Yeah, you should interview me when I
Maybe
get down there.
I should interview you.
That we can set that up. I'll be there.
That's
And then I'll be getting on
that's a
a
great plan.
tall ship, cruise ship, Sea Cloud, and we'll be going to some of those destinations you just mentioned. We're going to the Exuma,
Great.
which I know Exumas is your where you're from,
That's
and
right.
also Eleuthera. So I've been to the Exumas before, not Eleuthera, and I'll be spending obviously some time at the beginning in Nassau, and I'm always feel perfectly safe there. So
Good.
this advisory
Looking,
came out of
looking
left
forward to
field.
having you.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to
Yeah,
being
it
there
certainly
too.
did. Yeah,
Yeah, so I assume,
certainly did for all of us.
yeah,
But we want people to know, like you do, that it's still better in Bahamas. That's important for us. You mentioned Eleuthera. I was there on Saturday, and in North Eleuthera, whilst I was there for maybe 2 hours, we received three American Airlines jets and one Delta Airlines jet, all filled to capacity.
yeah,
So, whilst the advisory is having some impact in terms of the attention it got for about a week, people still realize the beauty and the charm and hospitality of our islands. And it was really refreshing to see those arrivals on Saturday past.
and then
In fact, we had an inaugural flight as well into
okay.
Governor's Harbor, a new flight from Miami into to Governor's Harbor. So that was magnificent as well.
Yeah, so but you are also taking even more stringent measures to get rid of this situation that you were talking about in Nassau in some of those areas, because obviously,
Absolutely.
yeah, because I'm sure that I was surprised it was just sort of blew out. It must have been a slow media day or something, but it got picked up. And it sadly got picked up. Have you had any reason to complain to the U.S. State Department about? You said the advisory was the same level, so it really, except for the comments that the embassy made, that maybe unjustified. I don't know.
Well, we met with them today. We have frequent contact, formal and informal, with the U.S. Embassy. We share a border with the USA. We're 50 miles off of Bimini from Miami, 60 miles off of Grand Bahama Island from West Palm Beach. So we're close in every way. So we expressed our general concern to the U.S. Embassy as it relates to the advisory itself. But you know, the attention that it received couldn't have been predicted by them or anyone else for that
Right.
matter.
Right.
As I mentioned, we've had the same advisory for a considerable period of time, and the announcements usually come. So slow news day, perhaps. I don't know the answer. But the reality of it is that, you know, we continue to collaborate, give updates to the U.S. Embassy on all of our crime fighting initiatives. They advise us if they are of any concern whatsoever. So we have a very open, cordial working relationship.
That's fantastic. Now, but your message is that the Bahamas is safe to travel to. You shouldn't be concerned about this advisory. Obviously, take necessary precautions as you're in any metropolitan inner city environment. Although you're probably not going to be in these neighborhoods, you're probably going to be in a resort or in the stores or elsewhere or in the nearby hotels, and just not to worry that that's going to affect your vacation.
That's absolutely true. But in addition to that, we also want them to know that it's easy to get to. We now have direct flights from the West Coast, 4.5 hours,
Okay.
Alaska Airlines or JetBlue. 2 hours from New York, 20 minutes from Miami. Direct access from 25 cities across the USA and Canada. So we are easily accessible. It's safe. We have magnificent activities, things to do, to see, and to enjoy. We have great programs like People to People where they can interact with our citizens, have a meal or go to a picnic or have a conversation so that you can have the true, authentic feel of a Bahamas visit. Really, one of our greatest strengths is the warmth, uh, peaceful, hospitable nature of our people. And we want the world to get to know us that way.
Now, the situation now, we go out to about 126,000 travel advisors, travel agents here in the U.S. What would you tell them about, to tell their clients right now who have plans to go to the Bahamas?
I would say to tell them it's still better in the Bahamas. I would imagine that many of them have visited before. The brand of the Bahamas continued to be very, very strong. We can say that the Bahamas is a safe place to visit. Yeah, there are pockets of crime, but we have the issue under control, and we have a very comprehensive crime plan. And as notwithstanding the misinterpretations of some of those advisories, there have been no tourists hurt or injured in these issues that's been raised in the alert.
Now, where can advisors go to learn more about the situation in the Bahamas to get more information that they can pass on to their clients if they don't want to necessarily tell them to go to the State Department advisory page?
Well, I think the best content of the Bahamas that I've ever seen is on Bahamas.com.
Okay.
Certainly, I would suggest that they speak with their travel advisor. Or certainly, we have contact us links on Bahamas.com where they may speak with a person. They may call our hotline, get information as it relates to visits in the Bahamas. That's probably the safest, most reliable source of information that could be found. We try to keep it updated, not just with press releases. We've issued a press statement. Our Prime Minister did
Right.
recently, just after the issue of the travel advisory. That's posted on Bahamas.com as well.
Yeah,
So
we
anything
ran that right away, and it was out to our readers right after you put it out.
good, we appreciate that. I think the issue is becoming more understood. We continue to speak with people like you and ask you to spread the word for us. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in the Bahamas as well.
I'm looking forward to getting there down the beginning of next month. So the message is it's safe in the Bahamas and it's better in the Bahamas. So
That's
that's where
absolutely
I'm heading in less than a month. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to exploring some islands that I have not been to before, and also experiencing Nassau. So
good.
I have no problem with that. And again, hopefully we'll see you down there. And I probably have about 3 other trips to the
Absolutely.
Bahamas this year.
Our office is actually in next door, immediately next door to the to your hotel, British Colonial, uh, right downtown. So looking forward to a visit from you.
Well, Minister, I want to thank you for taking the time to speak with us about this situation, and hopefully it will quickly blow over if it hasn't already, and that people will get the message that it is safe indeed to travel into the Bahamas and they can go and have a great vacation and not worry about a thing. Again, thank you so much.
Brilliant. Thanks so much. Take care.
I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.